double-decker tour bus. We're headed towards the Manhattan Bridge. We're in Chinatown right now. It's really chilly up there. I'm gonna go up there in a minute and shoot some video of us going over the Manhattan Bridge at night. I just finished work, and this is an empty tour bus. There's no one on here. And I'm actually hitching a ride back to Brooklyn because we have 3 bus yards, one of which is not far from my house. So I catch the ride into Brooklyn, I go back in style, baby. Then I just hop the bus or the train, the city bus or train, and head back to my house. So I'm gonna go upstairs in just a minute. I'm gonna cut to the Manhattan Bridge, and I will freeze my hand off that I'm using to hold the camera as we go over the bridge. I'm doing this for you. I hope you appreciate it. Alright, here we go. Now comes the cold. Whoa. See, it could be tricky going up these steps. Alright, here we go. Gonna go over the bridge. This is Chinatown. Got a red light. Here we are about to enter Manhattan Bridge. Check out the walkway on the right. You can also take a bicycle like my man is doing. I like to go over the Manhattan Bridge sometimes on foot. It's pretty cool. The entrance to the Manhattan Bridge is an arch with I forgot what you call that thing that swoops around, but it's a very European style entrance. It looks like they're pushing all the buses over the bridge. There is a little bit of congestion on the upper level, which is where we're going, so I might just cut in and out to conserve time, I guess, or to cut down the length of this video. But here we go over the Manhattan Bridge, the entrance of the Manhattan Bridge right in front of you, and Canal Street back there. There's a tour bus with all the empty seats, and yeah, it's moving kind of slow. So I'm gonna cut in and out. We've got here a view of the Freedom Tower with the cranes on top. It's not lit up, huh? Interesting. It's usually lit up. My first time seeing it at night since the hurricane. The hurricane came through here exactly 1 week ago tonight. Yeah, this was crazy. Yeah, 1 week ago. Very scary night. I did 2 years in Afghanistan, and that night when the hurricane hit, it's actually pretty scary. Probably scarier than any night I did in Afghanistan. We're looking down into Chinatown, and rooftops. Check out the water tower up there. Let's see what else we have. We have Midtown Manhattan back there. That's Midtown Manhattan. Empire State Building, Chrysler Building, Bank of America Tower. We're looking into Chinatown again. You know what's weird? The buildings are not really lit up. They're lit up, but not much. And I guess maybe they don't have their power back. The Freedom Tower is completely blacked out. Usually the Freedom Tower is totally lit up at night. Lower Manhattan, they're still getting all their power back. Maybe they're trying to conserve power is what I'm guessing. Okay, look down there. Chinatown below us. Possibly the largest Chinatown in the world. It is the largest Chinatown in North America. There's another massive Chinatown in Brooklyn. Another one in Queens. They call that Flushing Chinatown. Now these projects on the right are really cool. Well, let me rephrase that. Well, these are low-income project towers, low-income project towers. In England, these would be called council flats. And my favorite TV show, right? My favorite TV show ever is called How to Make It in America. It ran for 2 seasons on HBO. They canceled it because they weren't properly promoting it. But on the show, one of the stars of the show, a guy called Cam, in real life his name is I think Victor Rasuk, but he gets an apartment here in these project towers, which you can barely see because they're not really lit up. Interesting. But these project towers, this is the deal. This is low-income housing property, but they're basically right on the water, so you have an incredible view in many instances of the river, and like that. This is the walkway down there, covered in graffiti. Wow, it's getting cold. I'm gonna switch hands real quick. Yeah, so that's the skyline of Lower Manhattan. We are moving a bit, a little quicker. This is interesting. Since we're not moving too fast, I can actually talk a little bit more. Okay, all those lights, those cars, that's the FDR Drive. Okay, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, one of our presidents. That's the FDR Drive. And yeah, a lot of buildings are blacked out. Yeah, blame down the hurricane. In fact, it looks like I'm thinking a number of buildings don't have power back yet. And in fact, pretty much all the buildings right on the river are blacked out on the east side. East side. How about that? Let's look at the bridge a little bit. Let me hop over a little bit over here. There's the Manhattan Bridge. You'll see a train. I think there's a train about to catch us in a minute. Oh, it's underneath us. We may see some trains over on the left. I take these trains every day into work, and when I'm not on a tour bus going home, I ride the trains back into Brooklyn. On the left in the distance, we have the Williamsburg Bridge. The Williamsburg Bridge is also over 100 years old. It connects two fascinating neighborhoods. It connects the East Village in Manhattan to Williamsburg in Brooklyn. If you've been to London, those would be the equivalents of Camden Town in London. Lots of artists live there. Lots of artists, musicians have lived there over the years. Sorry about that. I gotta see where I'm pointing the camera. I wanted to cut it off, but we have such a good view coming up. You see these cables are getting lower and lower and lower. As you hit the middle of the bridge, you get to the perfect vantage point of Manhattan. There we go. And this, look at that. Like, oh man, the lower part of the city of Manhattan is not lit up on the east side. Wow. That's a result of the hurricane, the Franklin storm. Manhattan Bridge. And in this area right here on the right, this is known as Dumbo. It stands for Down Under Manhattan Bridge Overpass. These warehouses look, down there, it looks very dangerous. It used to be. This is the area from the movie Once Upon a Time in America with Robert De Niro. And today, those warehouses converted to luxury apartment buildings. This is back in Manhattan. Stunning. To city, look at that. To see half of it blacked out, the other half lit up. You see that merry-go-round right down there? If you look up Brooklyn Bridge Park merry-go-round, that whole thing was underwater. I believe the storm surge was about 13 feet. So basically the hurricane hit at a high tide during a full moon. So all of this stuff was flooded. That's crazy. And this is the streets of Dumbo. Kind of dark for you to see. You can still kind of make it out. My hands are numb. This camera is probably not high enough quality for you to look into the apartments. I could see them with the naked eye. Very nice apartments. That building, that clock that you're looking at way on top there, that penthouse was recently for sale. People who were looking at it included Jay-Z, Beyonce, and I believe the fashion designer Ralph Lauren was one of them as well. And then we come into Brooklyn. We've been running this for a while. I could keep on talking as we make our way through Brooklyn, but it's a little bit more difficult at night for you to see. I'm just going to cut it off here. I'll ride over to Manhattan Bridge. I'm going to go and get some blood circulation going back in my fingers. But we are now in Brooklyn. Just come into Brooklyn.